Hello everyone, this is Plankara, and welcome to my universe. Today, we're going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. So last time, I did a bunch of stuff with the bald form, and when I was looking at it this morning, I realized there's a shenanigan here. Yeah, something happened to the nose, and I don't know what. Yes, it is bald Shalom time. So hello Vivian, hello Yeji Kitty. How are both of you doing today? Oh yes, when I looked at things, I realized that something had gone wrong. So, gonna need a second to fix that. I'm not quite sure what happened, but something definitely did. Oh, there we go. Seems to have fixed the worst of it there. Just bump that over a little bit. And then hopefully get everything else into place here. I'm pretty satisfied with how it looks for the most part. Just a couple of little things I want to fix in the eyelids and stuff like that. There does tend to always be just a thing or two that I want to touch up before I really move on. Oh, well, it's good to see you here again today, Yeji Kitty. Alright, just gonna round out this here, and hopefully everything will be fine on the other side. We'll see if I can get this over there. That's the joy of working with a roughly symmetrical model like this, and that I can just kind of copy and paste whatever I do on one side onto the other side. Well, I'm glad to hear it. I do indeed. Come and stream every day. I will be here at this time every day. Being very particular about how I want the eyelids here to be. Just because it's like they're the eyes, so it's very, very important. It's where people will be looking the most. So I want to get them nice and pretty. As pretty as I can make them. I do feel like that they were like 90% of the way there. I just want to get that last little bit to make them look really nice. Alright, just doing some staring here, but I think everything over here is pretty okay. Let's see if I can just get all the changes that I wanted from the mirror here. I think I can do it piece by piece. I've never been quite sure if, when I do it from down here, from this menu that I'm rubbing my cursor on right now, if it gets it from this side or if it gets it from the mirror on the current keyframe. I've never been quite sure. Looking for eyelid here. Here we are. But it did change, so that probably does mean it's getting it from over here. That's exactly what I want in this case. I wonder if there's some logic that it helps it decide whether to pull it from the other corner over here or from the same keyframe. Do I love tomatoes? No, not really. Never really liked how they tasted. Not sure why. As long as that there's other food that fulfill the same nutritional requirement, that's probably fine. Once again, just cleaning up the eyelids here, just giving one last quick look at everything before I move on and put the hair back. I thought I had it all but about ready for that today, but it looks like there's a few more things I want to clean up. That tends to be how it goes. There always tends to be a few things that I don't quite like. That's why I like to sleep on these decisions. That, and it just so happened that I finished everything at roughly the time I'd want to end yesterday, so it worked out. Always nice when things work out. But there's lots and lots of just subtle little shades on the nose here, so I want to make sure that I have them all in the right place. And I think this part right here that's bothering me is actually part of the head shadows, not the nose. Yes, correct. Okay. In that case, I probably don't have to do as much finagling with the nose. Try to put some of it back here. Okay. No wonder things weren't moving the way I wanted them to. I was working on the wrong layer. Happens more than I like to admit. So yesterday I finished the current Path to Nowhere event, and I think I had mentioned in the previous streams that I'm not generally a fan of meta humor like this. Still not, but man, did they still manage to make it as heartfelt as ever. Despite it being kind of a silly meta comedy event, it still said a lot about the characters in it, and I greatly appreciate that. It's okay, I won't do any spoilers. I tried to speak in very vague terms. Unless there's like a specific idea that I want to talk about, but that I tend to talk about those in the abstract, as opposed to the specifics. So don't worry about it. But yeah, a lot of the setup and stuff, still not necessarily to my taste, but man, the emotions are real. I think I made a comment a while ago, I forget when exactly, but I feel like a lot of the writing in this game is, how did I put it? The writers just complaining about everything wrong with the world. And personally, I think that's a reasonable way to write things. There's been a few in particular that just makes me think, man, this is how you feel, isn't it? And you're writing this story to kind of help you work through those emotions, and hopefully help people that feel the same way. This is one of the ones where I felt that very strongly. The other one that comes up at the top of my head, where I really felt that, was Levin's event. Oh, just all the mean things people say. But yeah, overall, there's some implications that always make me a little bit uneasy, but they were able to kind of write that part out, have their fun, and still write a story where the character decisions mean something. Or at least what they were feeling showed the kind of people that they are. So I'm satisfied. I had a good time. still holding off on doing my pulls until I get all of the free pulls. So that's like, what, 5 more days or so? Or is it 4? I lost count. I've been a little bit scatterbrained lately. But it's okay. We'll see it when I see the interface. It's not important for me to remember. So here's hoping that the gacha gods will be kinder to me this time than they were with the Yao, making me go to 80 3 times, losing the 50-50 twice, and running out of queues before I could get both centers. It's very sad. Why is that nostril freaking out? Okay. Yeah, it's like, those free pulls we're getting just won't be able to be used on any other banner. So I figured that I'd go ahead and wait for them. I don't mind waiting a week. It'll be fine. Oh, and thank you. I like my outfit too. I spent a long time designing it, so it makes me happy. Man, all these shenanigans happening here and there. Is it supposed to be that far to the right? Looks a bit strange. Whoa there. Okay. I need to check to make sure that the nostrils are in the right place here. I think it might actually be in that there's some other shenanigan making it look strange. Okay. Yeah, I think they're good. Just need to get it all into place here. I have decided that 0 will be the next center I raise, so I'm just holding off on spending any more resources. I should have a huge stockpile by the time I'm ready to actually start build. By the time I actually get her. So, should be able to get her fairly quickly here. I think I only have like something like 10 to 15 more centers to get to P3, so that's exciting. I'm raising them all much faster than I get them, so eventually I will have them all the way up there, and then I can just start bringing everyone to level 90, I guess. Seed of Ill Omen all day, every day. No, I think this is the first time I've done a nose like this. Even the nose on my model is much simpler than this guy. Like, I don't think I have proper nostrils, do I? Nah, I didn't draw the nostrils. Just drew a nose shape. So figuring out how to get them all into place is proving to be a little bit of an adventure. Okay, so that's part of the nose. And I think the way I got the shading on the nose was a little bit messy. So that's a note that I should make for my future self. Okay. Do we still have shenanigans? Okay. I think I took care of the shenanigans. Now I'm just not entirely happy with the shape of the nose shadow, so I'm gonna go fix that up before I turn the hair back on. This is totally not me just procrastinating on doing more hair, re-entering hair hell. But it's okay. The head is almost done. So that means the hair is almost done. That is exciting. Everything else should go much faster, I think. The hair on this is just so very detailed. So detailed, and there is so much of it. Okay, I'm trying to make sure that it matches up with the nose shadow on the bottom here. I don't think it quite does yet. Need a little bit more of a straight line over here. This is the one thing that makes the corners a little bit harder than the cardinal directions. In that you have to actually, like, care about what you made before and line it up with what you're making now. If I don't want it to slide around, then I need to try to keep the shape of this nose shadow roughly the same. Otherwise it's gonna look weird. Whereas when I was just doing the right head turn, I didn't have to worry about that. The only thing I had to worry about was making sure that it looked good with this one. But with this one, I have to make sure it looks good with this one, and this one. So there's a little bit more to worry about. It's totally fine, though. The upside to having a little bit more to worry about there is that I have more points of reference to make sure I get it right. So it's not the end of the world. There are some upsides, even if it is a little bit more tricky. And here I'm trying to make sure that I'm showing a fair amount on the bottom here. Since her head is tilting upward, we see more of the bottom of her nose. So that's why the nostrils appear to be a little bit larger. And why I'm showing a little bit more shadow underneath. Okay, there we go. I think that looks good. Now I just want to adjust the shadow underneath the nose a little bit here. That'll be this guy. Just bring him a little further over to the side here. Just like that. He doesn't need to go too far. Once again, just want to keep the shadow kind of consistent with where I had it on the lower head turn there. And then make sure that it looks good with this upward turn. And I think it does. There we go. Okay, now do things break when I do it diagonally? Doesn't look like it. I think we're looking pretty good. Okay, hair time. Here we go. I had to take a deep breath there. Okay. So I'm gonna worry about big picture things here. Fortunately, a lot of the big picture stuff has been taken care of for me by the computer. But I still have some things I need to put into place here. So you'll probably see me swinging her head around a little bit more than usual here while I figure out where everything needs to go. And of course I have the tilt of her head a little bit different here. It's like here everything was just straight, but here I have her chin kind of going that way. See, it's pointing this direction. So this means that this side should be a little bit higher than this side. So I do want to push all of the hair on this half a little bit lower. Gonna do very gentle changes here. And I guess it might make sense to just raise this side just a little bit here. Even though I'm making quite a few changes here, I want to keep them small until I look at how it all actually is shaking out for me. Alright. Why are elephants fly? I'm not sure what you mean. Alright. Okay, so stretching out a little bit over in the middle here. So I'm going to take the mesh group here and just kind of lower these areas a bit. I'm worried that the part here is getting a little bit too low. It is true, elephants do have very large ears. They cannot fly with them, though. I feel a little bit bad for them. In the same way I feel a little bit bad for humans. It'd be a lot of fun to be able to fly without an airplane. Just go where you want. Okay. Getting there. Mesh groups are... I'm finding the mesh group for the hair here to be pretty nice. Oh dear. Looks like I am overdoing it on this side just a little bit, though. Doesn't quite look like our head is swinging over. Gonna have to think about that. Alright, let's correct things relative to this side a little bit then. Oh, no, not there. Here. Definitely want to make sure that I have the right keyframe there. It'd be deeply unfortunate if I started moving the wrong pieces around. Okay. This one might take a little bit of trial and error to get everything where I want it. That's okay. I'll try a few things and see what happens. I never quite know what to expect with a lot of things here. Okay. It's too bad because it is starting to look good from this direction. It's just not quite coming together from the upward direction. And I do have to make sure that both of them look good. Otherwise... everything will look quite funny anytime she looks up into the into the left. I don't want that. Man, I really did move it quite far down, didn't I? Oh, that's alright. I had a vision. It just didn't pan out. Always sad when that happens. Always a little bit sad. I'll definitely have to be careful while I'm moving things around. Because otherwise I might get an effect like this. Alright, let's take a look at the other side here. If I can't lower this side too much, then maybe I can get away with raising this side a little bit more. Okay, yeah, that's pretty okay. Does it look good over here? Yeah, I think so. Definitely gonna have to do a lot of work with this strand, I can already tell. That's alright. I've never been one to shy away from a challenge like this. Man. Every time I look at the hair, I'm just like, there's so much hair. There is so much hair. Okay. So let's see how I end up going about wrangling all this. I would like to flatten the top of the hair a little bit more here. Although, maybe it's not necessary. It already does look like her head is tilting back a bit. Looks like it's growing in a few areas, so I'll have to fix that up, but that is doable. That is very doable. Okay, so I think this is probably about as good as I'm going to get it until I start messing with the individual hairs. Maybe I can afford to send the part here in a slightly better spot. Try to figure out where he needs to be. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then the rest will just have to be individual. Alright. So let's take a look at this side now. What the heck is going on there? Okay, so that's just... The tunnel is very confused. Well, that's fine. I'll be sure to fix that up at some point. Alright. So I want to do something similar to this side, but hopefully armed with the new knowledge I have, now that I did the other side first, I can avoid making some of those same mistakes. So I want this side to be a little bit lower. This side to be a little bit higher. And I guess that's about it, really. So now I'll try to get in, do some specifics. Still mostly just using the arrow keys to move the mesh around. I think it's a little bit cleaner. Makes it a little bit easier to work with later. Do I want to do any more specific movement? Let's take a look here. Probably a little bit like around here. If I can get away with lowering this just a little. And... no, I feel like the part is in roughly the right spot. So I'm going to avoid moving the vertex that kind of controls the part. Okay, so I think this one's fine. I don't want to move him if I can help it. Okay, good. I can move this over a little bit without trouble. But I think that might be the best I can do around this area. So this is gonna look pretty funny until I fix it. That's okay. The fixes will come. But I think I'm gonna do the left side first. Just because I typically do the left side first. No particular reason. I think it's because I read left to right. Maybe I'd feel different if I was Chinese or something. Okay. Time to dig into this. So I'm going to start with the part here and the front bang. As usual, I think those are very good points to start with. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the shadows for the time being. Where are you? Oh, I had the hair collapsed. Okay. I think it just makes it a little bit easier to work with when I don't have to worry about the shadows as well, and I can just go put them all on in the right spot at the end. This way, when things are squirming, it's only hair, not hair shadows. So that means that there's something wrong that needs my attention. Oh yes, and Inktober continues. Got less than a week left now, and I'm kind of looking forward to having a break from drawing every day. I mean, I'll probably still draw every day. I might take a week off or so. But, oh boy, making a speed paint every day has been pretty rough. I think, I like the one that I made yesterday, though. It's kind of spooky. Good for Halloween. Very different from the kind of tone that I usually go for. So, it's always nice to have a little change of pace every so often. Today's prompt was camera, which I don't really know what I'm going to do with. Might just do a finger camera. I don't know. I feel like for this last week, I might just keep things simple. I can't think of anything in particular that I want to test out right now. So that's making it hard to come up with new ideas. And I think that's another one of those things that's pretty okay, because coming up with something interesting for a month straight and then having like an hour to draw it is pretty hard. Sometimes ideas just need a little time to bake before they can really get good. And drawing them same day in about an hour doesn't really give them a lot of time to truly manifest themselves. Still glad I'm doing it, though. That's why I'm determined to see it to the end. As always. Never been one to let a little bit of struggle get in the way of what I want to do. Okay. I'm actually surprised that this underneath spot got pushed in such a weird direction. I'm hoping that everything I'm doing here looks okay with the transition from the top. I realize I have not been checking that. I've only been checking from the right here. Yeah, so far so good. Okay, cool. There we go. Okay, looks like that got pulled a little bit too far while I was trying to get this right. Oh man. Is this where all my mistakes are going to be highlighted and I have to go back and fix a bunch of things? Potentially. Because man, I think this actually looks pretty okay. But from here, it's like if you look at how this part of the texture is moving around, it's getting a bit stretched out, actually. Okay. I'm gonna have to think about that one. Let's see. Okay, before I dig into that, I'm thinking to turn the ears back on. Let's do something a little straightforward and try to get the ears in place. Alright, so I think I can Bring it in and down a little bit, and that should be fine. I think the ears, when the head tilts up, should actually almost go... Did they go down a little bit? I guess not. I do have them going up a little bit there, so that's probably fine. I'll trust my past self. I think my past self is a little bit more trustworthy right now. My brain is feeling a little bit sleepy today. I can tell that the cold weather's coming in, because I've been a bit thirstier than usual. And I'm already starting to feel that again. Because my husband and I were playing through the S stages in the current Dark Knights event. And needed like 2 glasses of water during that, when normally I have 0. That's okay. The climate gets a bit drier out here during the winter, so I don't think it's that surprising. I think I'm also realizing why the ear keeps looking a bit wrong. Oh wait, no, not in this one. What am I doing? It's because the head is tilting in a slightly different direction. So I want to try to get it kind of down in the right spot here. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. Let's do it for this side too. Huh. I'm actually surprised this side didn't really need me to mess around with much. Let's make this one a bit lower too. I guess this one's covered by more hair, so I don't see as much of the ear, so I don't see as much of the stuff that makes it look strange. Okay. Yep. Look at those ears wiggle. I think they look okay, though. Alright. Oh yeah, my husband and I were doing the S stages in Dark Knights today, and they were pretty hard. Or more accurately, the first one and the 4th one were pretty hard. The rest were pretty easy. As much as we liked the event mechanic, it's a little bit janky, and it can be a little bit hard to predict what is actually going to happen. Especially with those guys that cut the chains. We made the joke that we had to pray to the jank gods and hope that things worked out the way we thought they would. I am so glad that failing a challenge mode no longer takes half of the sanity cost. And it instead just takes 1 again. That was just supremely awful. Definitely made going through the stages much more tolerable. I think I only ended up failing the S4 challenge mode a couple of times though, so... But still, it's nice not to have all that wasted sanity. I definitely would have felt a little bit more tilted when things didn't work out quite as I expected that one time. Just, oh man. In our initial strategy, my husband had 3 ambushers just over on the grates on the left, right in front of the blue box. And then some DPS on the high ground to hopefully take him out. But for whatever reason, the enemies walking right through those tiles did not hit the chains. It's like because they weren't perfectly centered or something. And it just completely messed it up. Made the strategy completely unviable. It really sucked. Alright, but back into art for now. Trying to line things up here, because one thing I liked when I was doing the top view here was showing a little bit of this area underneath here. So I'm trying to get the same thing. It looks like the area through here, though, got a little bit wrinkled up. So I'm gonna have to kind of detangle some of this. The computer interpolation didn't quite know how to handle this. But I think once I straighten out the triangles, everything should be fine. Let's see, does it match up here? Oh, no, it doesn't. Oh, very sad. Okay. Man, that's actually quite a difference. Okay, but in theory, I think it should work out. I just need to... How am I gonna do this? Take this and take this. Grab a big old brush here and just push all of this upward. Do not mind the bald spot. That will be dealt with later. Once I make sure that everything is actually where it needs to be. Okay. Looks like I pushed it a little bit too high there. That's kind of to be expected. I had to cover a pretty big distance there, so eyeballing it is pretty hard. So now I'll just gradually push it into place. Okay. Do have to move things around. But besides that, I think everything's good. Most excellent. And I'll just... yeah, gradually start getting things into place there. I think that's probably good enough for now. It's not right, but I kind of want to make sure that the other bits of hair around it are in good spots first. Not sure how I got so distracted by that spot when I was working down here before, but it's okay. I'll follow my brain's whimsy. Now, this is where I can tell that there's a slight error in this underneath area. I'm just trying to figure out which keyframe it's on. Because it's like, if you look, if I swing it over here, this area looks just fine. I think it looks pretty good, actually. I need to do some tweaking. I don't think this part right here is quite in the right spot. But, regardless, it seems to be moving roughly correctly. But from here, it's like being stretched out. So I think that this one might be getting compressed or something. Let me get the part itself into a slightly better spot here. Gonna take it slow. Really make sure I'm satisfied with where it ends up. And make sure I'm happy with where it is on the other keyframes too. So we're entering the end game here. Last little bit. So I gotta make sure everything is right. That everything is just the way I want it to be. Alright, I'm gonna ask the mesh for its wisdom now. See what's going on here. Oh. That's actually not what I expected. Okay, so what's happening isn't that the center vertices are sliding, it's the outer ones. That actually is quite surprising. Okay, so I probably wanted something a little bit more like this then. Is it really like that? I suppose so. That would indeed make things slide a bit strangely. So I guess it makes sense. I'm not sure exactly how to explain what I'm looking at here, but if you watch the triangles closely, you can see how they're moving from keyframe to keyframe. And the ones around the part here were just all very different. So I'm trying to get them to be a little bit more similar. Like, naturally it's going to move a little bit because I'm changing the angle of things and all of that good stuff, but hopefully noticing that will fix some of the sliding I was seeing. Although in my opinion, this only made it worse. Always a little bit unfortunate when that happens, but it's okay. Just gotta work the vertices into place a little bit here. I'm hoping that won't look like super choppy when I zoom out. Okay, no, it's fine. It's just the nature of how the pixels alias. And it's like you can see the number in the corner here where I'm highlighting, and that's how zoomed in I am. I tend to hover around like 500% or so. Just put the area that I'm working on in my sight so I don't get distracted by anything else. Okay. I mean, I guess the good part of working on corners is that I can just leave the entire hair on. I don't have to turn it on strand by strand anymore. I do feel like the big picture things are pretty good. That's why I'm diving right into the details here. So let's see. Okay, it's getting better. I don't feel like it's sliding around quite as much anymore. Alright, that's probably within the realm of acceptability at this point. Now I just gotta get all the angles right here. Feel like this needs to be a little bit more like that. Yeah. Round it out a bit and also extend it a little bit there. Yeah. And then just clean up the edge a little bit. Edge a little choppy. Just like right there. It's a pretty small amount of it. If this wasn't so close to the eyes, probably wouldn't be worrying about it. But it is this close to the eyes, so I'm gonna worry about it. I always like to get things by the eyes as close to perfect as I can. It's where people look. And getting all those little details and the most important areas, I do think is important. That's why I spent so much time the past couple of streams just getting some of these little areas in the hair that I thought showed her head turning and what that might look, and what might make it look a little bit more 3D. Just the way I wanted them. Make it a little bit stronger than it was. That kind of thing. Definitely need to mess with the shadow a bit here. Those vertices were actually, like, crossing each other, so no wonder things looked a little strange through here. This is still looking much, I don't know, more solid and stiff than I would like. Does it actually look like that? Kind of, I guess. So maybe I'm okay. Maybe I'm just overreacting a bit. I think that's actually right. I was looking at the highlight right here, and I thought that this little tip of it needed to be a bit higher, but I think this is actually correct. With it getting a little bit longer when her head turns. I think that's right, yeah. It should get a little bit shorter. It actually says about the same here. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So now I'm double checking everything on the bang here. Mostly in this area. And the tips. But I actually think that they all look pretty much fine. Yeah, I was wondering if this one needed a little bit of adjustment. But I don't think so. I think things are looking pretty good there. I'm gonna hide this for a second. I want to take a look at the upper part of the side bank here now. And I feel like it's kind of expanding outward. So I'll go bring him back in just a little bit there. Just a little bit. And then I felt like this shadow area was getting a little bit wrinkly here, so kind of moving the vertices around to get rid of that issue. And I think it'll make everything around it a little bit easier to see, just because it was bothering me. And when things bother me, sometimes I have a hard time not fixating on it. This will hopefully let me see some of the other things around. Alright. So when it comes to this bang, the areas that I look at are like where it's divided, like right through here. And then this part would show a little bit more in an upward turn, and this part a little bit less. And the reverse is true in the downward. So I'm going to make sure that it's moving right. And I do not know what that is. What is that? Are you part of an underneath layer? You are. Oh my. This one just going way over here. Whoa. Accidentally hit the movement crosshairs instead of doing what I wanted. Okay. Gotta get this guy into place there. He got way pulled around. That poor little area. Had no idea what was going on. Yeah, it looks like a lot of things around here are quite wrinkly. So I'm just gonna iron those out a little bit here. Hopefully, get them looking just a little bit nicer. Yes, we're gonna iron it out. Happy birthday, Iron. Oh man, having to reconcile everything looking good from two directions is always so hard. The corners are just rough, man. Okay. But so far so good. I feel like they're coming together pretty quickly here. We'll see how the hair treats me. Because after all, the hair is definitely the hardest part. And the most time-consuming part. So if it's kind to me, maybe it won't take that long. I can dream. And I guess the other good thing is that if I get really sick of doing hair, I can take a break and look at the downward turns too. Those I can already tell are going to be an adventure. Because with the upward turns, the head looked like it was staying roughly the same size. I can actually show that real quick. But yeah, when I went from the center to the top, it did look like the head was staying roughly the same size. Does not look like her head is shrinking. But when I go down here, it very much looks like her head is shrinking. And I can't have that, and I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna go fix it yet. Probably some shenanigans with the shape of her jaw and among other things. But yep, there's shenanigans. There's gonna be a lot I have to fix for this. And up here it's not so bad. Although doing all that just made me notice that I think I want this a little bit further this way here. Yeah. Okay. I'm excited though, because once I get this corner looking really good, I'll be able to do fun things like just swinging her head around. And it won't look funny. It'll just look like her head is swinging around. Alright, gonna go back in here for a little bit. While I was looking around, my brain decided that it didn't like where the point of this shadow was, so I wanted to go through and fix that up a bit. Try to get all those angles looking good here. Like I said, I've been feeling a little bit scatterbrained today, so it's not at all surprising to me that I want to jump around a bit. I just see something and I'm like, okay, let's go do that. Sounds good. I need no further justification for myself. Can afford to just kind of follow my whims a little bit today. See what happens, see how it all works out. So this particular strand that I'm poking at here is particularly important because it's what connects over to the other side here. So lining that up is pretty important. Want to make sure that all of this is working with the up and down here. So right now I kind of feel like it's not. Things are just looking like they're getting a little bit bigger. And then from here, it looks like it's moving a little bit up. So that's probably a problem, too. Oh, man. Problems from both sides. It's relentless. Alright. Oh, let's start pulling things down then. That's a little bit easier to understand than the problems with this strand looking a little bit too thick. It's front bang territory, so want to make sure that it's just right. And these particular strands, besides being at the front, connect to some pretty important places. So I want to make sure that they're all in the right place. I remember when I was going back and doing the upward turn, messing with those kind of helped with some 3D effect stuff. Okay, ignoring this aside, I think it's pretty good. Definitely need to mess with this, the tiny ear of the two highlighted strands there. But otherwise, I think it's looking pretty okay. Let's adjust this highlight. I think it needs to be more like up like this. I think it probably took a little bit of the almost, I don't know, more downward tilt that I had on this here, on the side view. But I do need it to be going more upward here, just to match with the fact that the head is looking up. Okay. Yeah, that should look pretty good once it's all cleaned up. Just space these vertices a little bit better here. There we go. And I think once I clean this up, that will be where I end for today. A little all over the place today, but I fixed up the noses and made them look pretty good, I think. And I feel like I got a pretty good start in this area. So hopefully that will set my future self up for success. We'll see how things go tomorrow. Assuming I don't just end up doing slight tweaks on the vertices for the next hour, but nah. I think I'm good. Yeah. Definitely got a little bit more tweaking to do in that highlight, but so far, so good, I think. Let's see how she's doing. Let's make her nod a bit. Maybe a little bit poofy up here still. Although her hair is just generally quite poofy, but might see if I can clean that up a little bit here. Head size doesn't feel like it's changing drastically, so that's good. Feel like the size of her chin is working. Looking at the jawline a little bit here. Might adjust right there a little bit. But I'll see what the me of tomorrow feels about that. Alright, so far so good, I think. Let's wiggle her head a little. Yeah. Look at her wiggle. Eventually, the little bits of her hair will stop kind of dancing a bit. Alright, well, thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, or any creative pursuit you can think of, feel free to message or at me on the social media platform of your choice, and I will take a look and maybe leave some comments. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.